am here with Chuck Bishop at NAMBA, and we are going to talk a little bit about diverse segments. Chuck and I have done a lot of work together around educating the mortgage industry on how to improve sustainable home ownership in underserved markets. And Chuck is the Correspondent Business Opportunity Senior Vice President at Wells Fargo. Is that right?
Absolutely.
Oh,
right.
Man, I got that. That's
Yes,
good. So tell us what that means.
So Business Opportunities is actually a support unit that helps sustain all of the needs of our sales team. So we have business development managers whose role it is to grow ethnic business as well as low moderate income business. We have a communications team. I have a product and implementation team, so they implement products and programs. And we also do work with hedge firms and pricing engines as well. So client support, client services, sales support, all roles up under me, kind of in one neat bucket.
Got it. And tell us a little bit about what some of the priorities are for Wells Fargo in the diverse segments division.
Sure. So in our diverse segment space, we really are focused on growing home ownership and sustainable home ownership to ethnic minorities and low and moderate income buyers. While some of that is a regulatory opportunity, the reality is, as you often talk to, it's the changing of the American landscape, the browning of our country, the multicultural opportunities that are growing, and with respect to first-time home buyers, the biggest piece. So we're really focused on making sure that our clients, of which there are more than 900, are aware of these opportunities and using the right products and services to make meaningful and constructive growth in those markets.
Mm-hmm. So we talk a lot about this on a regular basis, but why don't you share a little bit with our audience, what are some of the things that you think lenders are really missing when it comes to reaching some of the diverse segments?
Yeah, our lenders in general probably mostly feel like they're doing the right things, and we often feel like they gravitate towards immediately saying, I must hire somebody that speaks Spanish and somebody's African American. And while those things are important, they're not the end of it. If there's a language barrier, you absolutely have to have a Hispanic or Spanish-speaking loan officer. But the reality is, it should be an accountability for everyone. You can't make certain people responsible for this book of business. It's got to be tops down, an accountability measure, and it's got to be a commitment from all. And then there's really, it felt like I'm back in the 80s, it's education. We've really got to demystify the home buying process, the affordability process, as well as the mortgage readiness process. We're finding today consumers at all income levels are kind of misinformed about what they need to become homeowners. So education is probably the number one outreach opportunity for us.
Yeah, definitely. And this is something we talked about. We just did a webinar this morning together, and we were talking about how much people don't know, just even millennials, anyone, no matter whether their parents bought homes or not, they don't know a lot about the home buying process and whether they would qualify. And while I think it's so important to mirror the market and pull, that is a very, very critical component, but actually having the education in these companies, a lot of people don't realize that the education is either over people's heads or it's not connecting.
You're right. And I think because we look at millennials as being a tech-savvy group, they're native digital users, we assume they have the knowledge base. But as you and I have found out, that there are many who have just a periphery understanding of what the process is about, and they still need hand-holding. They still need the old-fashioned qualification process, and I think they still kind of want some direction. As much as they're educated, as much as they know, they still need somebody, a professional, who can give them trusted advice.
Definitely. I mean, people all the time, my friends and people will say that they go online and look things up and they feel overwhelmed. So they need someone that's actually going to guide them through it. But so what do you think are some of the areas that lenders are not really connecting with these audiences? Is it around having the education content, or what are some of the barriers that you're seeing?
Well, education is critical. We as mortgage professionals, most of us grew up using FHA as a product, and real estate agents still use FHA as a product, a first choice for home buyers. I bought a house 6 years ago. My agent wrote an FHA contract. We never even talked about financing. I didn't want an FHA loan, but it was, I guess in her mind, the path of least resistance, not even understanding where I was going. So education is still critical, and I think it's most important, but I also think it's also a very proactive and focused strategy. You can't be successful in this space by accident. You have to be purposeful. You need to be intentional. You need to have a strategy plan that you're holding folks accountable for executing. And it's collaborative. You can't do it by yourself. You can't do it with your loan officers. You need to reach out to the advocacy groups and the industry groups. So there's NAREP, ARIA, there's NeighborWorks of America, the nonprofit entity. There are tons of folks out there in the nonprofit advocacy world that are really partners through this whole process. and can help make the business cycle much more consistent and predictable. But we've got to get people comfortable. We need people being comfortable where they're naturally uncomfortable and get them out of their own circles.
Yeah. People want to stay in their bubbles, but in order to be successful here, they have to actually step outside of their networks in order to and partner with people and the influencers that are already reaching those networks. So,
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Agreed.
Yeah. Cool. Well, any last words for our audience who are primarily in the mortgage space trying to reach underserved markets and millennials? I think we've talked about education around products and programs, education to the consumer, partnering with nonprofits and trade associations.
Right.
Anything else that we're missing here?
You know, if I had left some parting words, it'd probably be something like, get involved. We've got people sitting on the sideline or waiting for an opportunity. And I think part of that discomfort is people don't want to make a mistake in this arena because of their own discomfort or disconnection. But I got to tell you, the disengagement and the inability to dive in is a worse mistake than jumping in and doing something in a productive way, but perhaps making a misstep. There's volume out there. There's business to be received. Again, be purposeful, be intentional, and have a strategic plan so that you know exactly where you're going and make everyone accountable. So
yeah,
that's
awesome.
what I would say.
Well, thank you so much for the work that you're doing to actually make a positive impact in our communities, and thanks for sharing with our audience.
My pleasure. Thanks.
Yeah.
Appreciate it.